Title: What are some real horror stories you've been through? I'm writing this now because I can't sleep tonight. I had the dream again. The one where I'm back in those woods. The one where the air smells like metal and something just beyond the trees is breathing with me. Hey Reddit, 25F. This is a throwaway because, well, this is a story I haven't told a single person in real life. Not my boyfriend, not my therapist, not even my older sister, whom I used to tell everything to. I'm 25 now. This happened when I was 17, but it still lives in the back of my mind like a splinter I can't reach that I grew up in upstate New York near the Catskills. My hometown's small and quiet. The kind of place where people still wave from their porches, and the biggest drama is when someone's dog gets loose and knocks over someone's trash cans. I wasn't a particularly rebellious teen, but I was curious, restless. I think that's why I said yes when Eli invited me to his cousin's bonfire in the woods just past Alder Creek. That IT wasn't a party. Just four of us: Eli, his cousin Noah, this girl named June, and me. The four of us used to hang out all the time back then. Eli and I had something that wasn't quite dating, but definitely wasn't not. And we'd gotten into the habit of exploring abandoned places, an old drive-in, an overgrown train station, even a half-buried greenhouse that still had rusted gardening tools inside. But that night, that was different. That we parked on the side of the service road and hiked into the woods with flashlights and gear. I remember the air felt weird, heavier somehow, and even though it was early October, it was warmer than it should have been. Humid, almost that we made a fire in a clearing near the ruins of an old stone cabin. Noah swore it was used for bootlegging in the 1920s, but I've never found any proof of that since. It looked ancient, almost forgotten by time, just a stone foundation with part of chimney still standing, moss climbing up one side like it was trying to pull it back into the earth. Everything was fine for a while. We joked, shared drinks, and told scary stories. I remember June was telling some dumb story about a ghost hitchhiker when Eli suddenly got quiet. He was looking past the fire toward the trees. "Do you see that?" he asked. "A T first." I thought he was messing with us. But then Noah stood up too, squinting. There was a light, not flashlight light, not firelight. It was pale and bluish, flickering like candlelight, but colder. It was maybe 20 feet away, moving slowly between the trees, and it shouldn't have been there. None of us brought lanterns or anything like that. Eli, of course, wanted to follow it. And of course, like the idiot I was, I followed him. June stayed behind. Noah hesitated, then came to. I wish I could say I remember everything that happened after that, but honestly, it all kind of blurs together like it was a dream I wasn't supposed to remember, but I'll tell you what I do remember. The light wasn't floating. It was attached to someone. Or something. I could see the shape of a person holding it. A figure, tall and still, dressed in clothes that didn't move with the wind. They had no face. Or maybe they did, and I just couldn't see it. It was like the space where a face should have been was blurred out like static on an old TV screen. The forest got quiet. No crickets. No wind. Not even our footsteps made sound anymore. And then the figure turned out IT didn't move. It just shifted. 1 second, it was facing away. The next, it was facing us. And I felt wrong. Like my skin didn't fit. Like something was pressing against the inside of my skull. Eli whispered, "Run." But when I turned around, the woods weren't the same. The trees looked wrong. Too tall, too close, bending in unnatural ways. The fire we came from was gone. Even the air smelled different, sweet and metallic like old pennies. We ran anyway. Noah tripped and sliced his palm open on something sharp. I remember him screaming, but the sound was muffled, like he was yelling through water. Somehow, we found the cabin again. Only it wasn't ruins anymore that IT was whole. Windows glowing with warm yellow light. Smoke curling from the chimney. I could hear someone inside, humming. A woman's voice, soft and low and terribly familiar. Like something from a dream I'd had 100 times but could never fully remember. The door creaked open, and I swear to God, I saw myself standing there. Same face, same clothes, but her eyes were wrong. Completely black, with no whites, like the night sky without stars. An older me. She smiled. Eli grabbed my hand, and we ran again. This time, the forest let us out. Just like that, we stumbled onto the road, panting, shaking, bleeding. June was there, crying hysterically. She said we'd only been gone 10 minutes. But my phone said it was 3:17 a.m. We went into the woods. At 10:42 p.m. Noah wouldn't talk about what he saw. He moved to Florida the next week, and we haven't spoken since. Eli and I drifted apart after that. He stopped answering texts, deleted all his social media. Sometimes I wonder if he remembers what happened, or if whatever we saw took that from him. As for me, I still dream of the cabin, the humming, the light in the trees, and the woman who looked like an older me, standing in a doorway that didn't exist. PT2. Hey again, that I didn't expect anyone to read the first post. I thought maybe I'd scream into the void, feel a little lighter, and move on. But the comments, the messages, even the weird ones. Thank you. Genuinely. I haven't felt seen like that in years, but some of you asked if there was more. There is, and I wish I could leave it buried that I wish I had left it buried. But yesterday, and I'm unsure of why, I had a compulsion to go back to those woods that I didn't plan it. I swear I didn't. I was driving to visit my mom. She still lives near Alder Creek, and I passed the old service road. It was overgrown, barely noticeable. But the second I saw it, I felt it. That pull on my chest, like something inside me remembered before I did. Like something whispered, "You left something behind." I kept driving. I told myself no. I even turned up the radio to drown it out. But half a mile later, I pulled over. I sat there for 10 minutes, hand frozen on the wheel, staring at nothing. Then I turned around. There's no reason I should have found the path again. So many years had passed, but my feet knew where to go before my brain caught up. The forest was different in daylight. Less like a crypt, more like a memory, but the deeper I went, the stranger it got. The trees grew too close again. The air felt thick, and though it was nearly noon, I started seeing my breath. I told myself I'd just go as far as the ruins. But when I reached the clearing, they weren't ruins anymore, that I swear to you. I'm not lying. The cabin was whole again, same as that night. Same glowing windows, same lazy curl of smoke from the chimney, same impossible wrongness humming in the air. Only this time, the door wasn't opened that IT was waiting that I should have left. Every instinct screamed run, but my legs moved on their own, step by step, like I was sinking into a dream. The closer I got, the more everything warped, sounds muffled, colors too bright, like the forest was holding its breath. Then I heard the humming. Same tune as before. Soft, slow, wrong in a way I couldn't name. My hand reached for the doorknob. That IT turned before I touched it, and standing there, in the doorway, was me. Again, but younger from that night. Her hair was longer. Her eyes still black. Still empty. But this time, she looked tired. She didn't smile. She just stepped aside, and God, I wish I could say I ran. I didn't. I went inside. The cabin was alive. I don't know how else to describe it. The walls pulsed faintly, like they were breathing. The floor creaked, like it was whispering beneath my feet. There were candles everywhere, but they didn't flicker. They glowed with that same cold blue light from the woods. There was a table in the center of the room. On it sat 4 objects: a cracked flashlight, that a strip of red flannel, torn and stained, a rusted gardening trowel, and a phone. My phone. The one I thought was just in my hand. That IT buzzed once. The screen lit up. One new voicemail that I pressed play. Static. Then, a voice. Mine. You shouldn't have come back. Silence. Then, It's waking up. The message ended that I turned to leave, but the doorway was gone. Just wall that I swear it hadn't been there a second ago. I pounded on it, but it didn't give. The candles flickered. Something shifted behind me. And then I saw her again. The other me. Sitting in the corner, knees to her chest, humming. She stopped when I looked at her. "You're not supposed to remember yet," she said. "You're too early." I asked her what that meant. She shook her head. "You pulled the thread." Then she reached in her pocket and held something out to me. That IT was a Polaroid. Faded. Warped by time, IT showed the four of us. Me, Eli, Noah, and June standing in the clearing. But there was a fifth figure behind us, half hidden in the trees. Tall, faceless, watching. "I thought it wanted you," she whispered. But it was me. Suddenly, the room groaned. The walls pulsed harder. The air thickened. Something behind the walls moved. The girl, me, grabbed my hand. "You need to wake up," she said, "before it marks you again." And then everything shattered. Not figuratively. I mean it. Like glass, the cabin just broke. Light burst from the seams. I was falling. Not through space, through time. I saw flickers of that night again. June's terrified face. Noah bleeding. Eli whispered, "Run." And then I was backed out on the forest floor. The ruins around me, old and empty. Like it had always been. The MY phone was in my hand. That IT was 3:17A. M. Again, that I don't know what's happening, that I don't know what I pulled loose. But I think something remembers me now. And I think it's waiting. And why do I know this? Because I believe it followed me home last night. Kiontek Chu. Hey. It's me. Again, that I wasn't sure if I should post more. The last time, I was shaking too much to write clearly. But since then, things have been happening. Things I can't explain. And I don't know who else to tell. The night after I found the cabin whole again, after the voicemail, I thought maybe I could sleep it off. Maybe it was all just my mind unraveling. But then I woke up in the middle of the night with a weight on my chest. Like someone was sitting there, pressing down, holding me still that I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. Just stared at the ceiling, heart hammering, eyes wide open. When I finally caught my breath, I noticed something on my nightstand, that a single Polaroid, the same one the other me had shown me. The one with the fifth figure, faceless, standing behind us, except it wasn't there before that I didn't take it. I swear, and sometimes, I swear I hear humming. Soft, distant, almost like it's coming from inside the walls of my apartment that I haven't told anyone. Not my boyfriend, not my sister. They think I'm crazy. Sometimes I wonder if I am. But this isn't just in my head. Last night I dreamed of the woods again, but this time I wasn't alone. There was someone with me. Not Eli or Noah or June. Someone else. Someone watching. Watching, waiting till I woke up with scratches on my arm. Fresh. Red lines, jagged and raw. I don't know if I'm being marked or marked for something, that I don't know if I'm losing myself, or if whatever lies in those woods is pulling me closer, ready to pull me under it. If you're still reading, thank you. Please, if you've ever felt like something's watching or waiting just out of sight, don't ignore it. Because sometimes the darkness isn't outside. Sometimes it's inside you. And sometimes it doesn't want to let go. Underscore, 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 PT4. I've been reading every single comment on my last post. You all have been so kind and so scared for me. There are theories swirling everywhere. Some say it's a skinwalker, a ghost, or worse, a Wendigo. The word keeps coming up that I won't lie. Wendigo stuck with me too, but after everything I've felt, heard, and seen, I think it's more than that. I think it's a demon. Something ancient, dark, and relentless. A lot of you urged me to stop hiding this from the people closest to me. To reach out to my boyfriend, my friends, Eli, June, Noah. You said maybe they won't believe me at first. That's okay. But I can't carry this alone anymore. I did it. I called Eli first. His voice on the phone was cautious, almost like he was preparing himself for something bad. When I told him about the humming, the Polaroid, the scratches, his silence said more than words could. He told me he'd seen strange things too. Shadows in his apartment, feelings of being watched. He hasn't slept well in weeks. June was next. She sounded exhausted, but relieved to hear I wasn't alone. She showed me the same scratches on her arms, thin and jagged. Noah was harder to reach, but June convinced him. When he joined, it was like a missing piece clicked into place that we met at Eli's apartment, our safe space for the moment. The air was thick with fear and old memories none of us dared speak aloud. When I showed them the Polaroid, Eli's eyes went wide. It's following us. He whispered that we played the recording of the humming for them, that IT was clear, unmistakable, like something alive breathing in the walls. That's when we knew. This was not going to end on its OW. IT first. Some of them try to rationalize it. Stress, nightmares, coincidence. But when the scratches appeared on June's arm during our meeting and the temperature dropped sharply, the doubt began to fade. We started researching everything. Old folklore, demonology, legends about spirits that prey on grief and fear. The name Wendigo came up again and again, but nothing fit exactly. This was something darker, something that wanted to break us down. Then someone in the comments suggested we get help. An actual priest, someone who understands this kind of darkness, that IT felt like grasping for a lifeline. I reached out to a priest I found online, Father Matthews, who specialized in exorcisms and spiritual cleansing, that he didn't hesitate. He said he'd come and that we needed to prepare. The night he arrived, the atmosphere in Eli's apartment shifted. The shadows seemed to creep closer, as if aware of what was coming. That we sat in a circle, salt on the floor, candles flickering low. Father Matthews carried a small silver cross and a bottle of holy water. He began the ritual with prayers in Latin, his voice steady despite the eerie noises growing louder around us. The humming rose into a shrill scream, rattling the windows. The Polaroid suddenly burst into flames in the center of the circle. I felt something brush my arm, a coldness like death itself, and a low growl filled the room. Father Matthew's voice grew stronger, commanding the presence to leave, to release its hold. For what felt like hours, we stayed locked in that circle, fighting a darkness that seemed to want to consume everything. And then, slowly, the room grew quiet. The coldness lifted. The candles stopped flickering. The demon was gone. At least, for now, I'm not sure it's truly gone. Maybe it's just waiting, watching, biding its time. But we're not alone anymore. Thank you to everyone who urged me to speak up, to reach out. Sometimes, the darkness can only be faced together. If you're reading this and something watches you, don't wait. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you ever hear that humming in the silence, don't ignore it, because some things are too heavy to carry alone. Underscore. So that's the story that's lived rent-free in my bookmarks and in the back of my brain for years. I'd say, I don't believe it, but you know that feeling, right? When your gut knows something your head can't explain? That, anyway, your turn. Tell me something strange, something real, or something close enough.